So in this part of the course, I'll be showing you how to design your table of content. Now this is one part where you have to be careful and take note of everything that you're going to put inside this table of content. Now what you put in the table of content is one of the elements that can sell your book. This is how the buyer will come. So first of all, the buyer will come and will be attracted by your, if you have a very good book cover, the buyer will be attracted and they'll click on your book cover. After clicking on your book cover, they'll go ahead and read your book description. Now, if your book description tells them a story that relates to them, then they'll go ahead and click to open and see the first page. Now, if they land on this first page, they will see that the first page is good and it looks professionally formatted. And then they'll go ahead and look at the second page. If they see this kind of second page, which is properly formatted, they'll be satisfied with this. And then the third thing they'll come to is the table of content. Now this is another part where you have to sell your book. Now everything we do here is basically advertising the book. Yes, the design, the way you design everything here sells the book for you. Now most buyers, when they're looking at your table of content, they want to see if it has the information they want. And for you as the book designer, as the person who created the book, you have to present to them, show them that you have the information and it is well organized. So to show them that it is well organized, you can design your table of content like this. This table of content was created directly from ChatGPT, and I just copied it and pasted it here, and then I turned the design into this. Now the table of this table of content is not yet linked within the document. If I try to click, it will not take me to the rest of the part of the document where the rest of the data is. But at the end of this video, when I've already created the data, I'm going to link the data and the table of content in a very special way, which I'm going to show you in this particular video. Now, to design your table of content, all you have to do is go to ChatGPT and let it create for you a good table of content. So I'll go to ChatGPT and copy my table of content from there. So I created a table of GPT, so I'll just highlight this and copy it. I copy this table of content. Now let me tell you to first remove the numbers. So remove the numbers. Remove the numbering. So it tells to remove the numbering, and if it removes the numbering, then I can use it. So as you can see, it's now removing the numbering and it's bringing for me the same table of content. Now since it has removed the numbering, I can now copy this table of content the way it is. Copy the table of content, highlight all, and then copy table of content and come and paste it inside my document. So as you can see, so this is my document. Now I come here and I paste this table of content. I click and I paste it using this third method. I can also try using the second method. Actually, this second one works better. You can see that it highlights everything and puts them in order. So I'll merge the formatting using this second method. I click that and you can see that I now have the table of content here. First things first, you can see that this one is big. This is big. This big. So I have to increase this. So all I have to is highlight this and go to home. Then from home here, I go ahead and center it first. Center it. And then look for this thing which says change case. I click on the drop down arrow. I want it in uppercase. As you can see now, it's in uppercase. And then I can make it bold as it's already bold, and then I can increase the size to around 18. So you can see that is now 18. And then as you can see, this is dark and this is not dark. This is light dark, light black. So all I have to do is come to colors here, font colors, and I click on this drop down arrow and I choose this one. So I'm choosing that one, and you can see that it has changed color. I click that. And then you can see that this is also underlined. So all I have to do is click on this underline and I click there, and you can see that now it is underlined. Yes. So you can see that our heading is now looking good. It says table of content properly. Now the next thing I want to do is to have made the chapters distinct so that this reader can easily see that this is chapter 1, this is chapter 2, this is chapter 3. So all I have to do is come here and say, highlight this and increase this chapter. So I just click that and you can see that chapter 1 has increased. And then I come and highlight this also, and I use this chapter 2. I'm going to link for you this. I'll leave you a template which has this so that you can be using it in your books, and I'll show you how to manipulate it. This is chapter 2, and then you can go ahead and highlight this and do chapter 3. Because chapter 3 is now out, you can highlight this and do chapter 4. You can see chapter 4 is out. Then highlight this and do chapter 5. You can see now chapter 5 is also done. Now, as you can see here, we have the introduction and we have the conclusion. So all I have to do is click here and click enter, and then I write the word introduction here. Introduction. Yes, and then there's a conclusion at the end. So I'll write here conclusion. Clue in capital will be like conclusion. So after that, all I have to highlight this, the word introduction, and come here and make sure it is placed well. So I tap on it again because that has changed to capital. And I come down here and I change this one also. Tap on this so that has changed also to capital. All I have to do now is change the color. So you can see, as you can see from here, you're seeing that this introduction is in black, is in pale black. So I'll highlight it and come to colors and change it to pale black. Even the conclusion is in pale black. So highlight it and come and change it to pale black. Now if I click here and I change from uppercase, make this one uppercase, and even make this one in uppercase. So I click here and I make this in uppercase. You can see that there's a difference between the two. Now, as you can see, our table of content is now coming out. So since we cannot now mix this dark black and this pale black, so all I have to do is make sure I use pale black everywhere where there's a major heading like this one, understanding acid reflux. So I make sure it is in pale black, and then I underline it to show it, to emphasize it. So I make it pale black and then underline it to emphasize it. I highlight this one also and make it pale black and underline it to emphasize the point. And make this one also pale black, underline it to emphasize the point. This is the principle of repetition. You can see that I'm repeating this, I'm repeating this, I'm repeating this, I'm repeating red, I'm repeating red, I'm repeating red. It creates a certain pattern within the document which makes it look better. So I highlight this and underline it. You can see that it has been underlined, and then I highlight this also and underline it. So and then change the color. Now you can see I have complete table of content. Now the next thing to do is to make sure they are all left aligned. So if I highlight this, make sure you can see that they are center aligned from here. So all I have to do is come here and make sure they are left aligned. So I click here, you can see that things are moved to the left and it looks better that way. Now I have this. This is almost complete. Now the next thing to do is to change the bulleting. As you can see, these bulletins are red. Actually, this is not red. These are apples. They are designed. The actual apple. Let me zoom so that you can see that they are actually apples. They are not just. You can see that these are apples. These are tiny apples. Some tiny apples which have inserted, and they look like there are some dots, some red dots, but they are apples. So I'm going to show you how you can put these apples inside the document and make them look good. Now to insert this kind of apples, all you have to do is come here and highlight this. After highlighting, you're going to be seeing this thing of bullets. You're going to see bullets. So you click on this arrow near the bullets. You click on this. As you can see, I already have mine here, but for you, you will not be having yours. So all you have to do is come here and say define new bullet. So you define a new bullet. So you click here. Now when you're defining a new bullet, you can choose anything to be your new bullet. You can choose a symbol to be the bullet. You can choose a font to be the bullet, or you can choose a picture to be the bullet. Now you can also change the position of the bullet. You can change the position to centered, right, or left, but let's leave it on left. And then all you have to do is click on picture, because I'm using an apple here. So I click on this picture and then it will load, but you have to be on the internet so that it can load. Now from here, all I have to do is click here and search and write maybe apple. Write apple and click enter, and it will search for it. You wait and see, it will search. Now my PC is not showing this well, but yours, I know it will show it well. So you can see that I can see very many apples here. So I can just pick one and use. The one I'm using currently is this one. So all I have to do is just click on it and click enter. Yes, click enter on your keyboard and it will be loaded, or you double click on it and it will be loaded and to come here. Now since it has come here, all I have to do is click on OK, and I'll be having my bulleting. Now you can see these ones have changed red because the apples are already here. Now if you look up here, you're going to see that my these words are actually at the extreme end, but this one here is somewhere in the middle. So to move this, all you have to do is move the indent. To move the indent, you come up here where they are saying decrease indent, and you click on this side. Click on it and you can see that they have moved. Now this next one also, you highlight it, you change the bullet to an apple. You can change this to apple. After that, you move the indent to this side. You move the indent. And this one also, you can highlight, change the bulleting to apple, and then you can move the indent. Yes, now you can see that it has moved. And then this last one, you can highlight all of it from here, highlight up to here, and change the bulleting to this apple. Then you can move the indent. Now you can use any fruit you want. Me, I've just decided to use an apple in this video. You can use avocado or something you want, or even just green dot, black dot, anything you want. Change it according to the way you want it to be looked at. So now I can add another apple here. All I have to do is click here, add the apple, and then indent to move closer. You can see now it has been aligned very well. Now this is my first, this is the table of content which I have. So I have to move this up because I want it up so that it can look better. Now the next thing to do is to insert an image. Before, as I told you before you insert any image on this document, you must, and I'm repeating this, you must be in the view section and have grid lines. So click on grid lines. You must be having grid lines before you insert an image, because these grid lines are going to guide you where the image is going to end. So as you can see, I've activated the grid lines, and then after activating the grid lines, you go ahead and click on insert and get a shape. Click here and get a shape, a rectangular tool, and draw this shape. So I'm going to draw this shape here following the grid line. So when you have a grid line, it's easier for you to draw the shape because the grid line keeps on guiding you on how to draw the shape. So and then you can leave it like this. Now you can see that I have the shape here. Now, when you're inserting an image, you can see that this image, I first removed the background, then I inserted it. So even you remove the background and then you insert it. So I'm going to double click here and go ahead and click on shape fill, and I go to picture and I find my image from a file. So, and then I go to downloads because I know that it must be in downloads. When I scroll through and I try to find it, it is here. So I've removed the background, and I know you know how to remove background. So I'll click on insert, and you can see that the image has been inserted. But as you can see, it is not yet straight. So I'll double click on it and come here to picture format. Then look for cropping tool and fill. Click on fill under the cropping tool. So I click on this fill. You can see that it has moved. And now I can stretch it. Just reduce the size a little because I want it to be a full image here. So move it here, and then tap anywhere inside the document to make it disappear. After that, I remove my grid because I've already inserted the image I want. So I go ahead and go back to view and untick the grid lines. Untick this, you can see that the image has entered. Now the next thing you have to do is make sure you don't have the border. So you remove the border and then you give this one a shadow. So double click on it. You go ahead and click on shape effect. Click on shape effect. Then this time we're using these presets. Yes, these presets has good shadows. So you go ahead and look for these presets. You can try out. You can see that this one is good. So it looks good. This number 2. Let's try this number 2. You can see that it also looks good. Number 3, good. Number 4, that one has a very good shadow. But the one I'm almost always use is this one. So this preset number 5. You click on it. You can see that it looks like the plate is part of the document. The plate has been placed on the document. So I can now just click and drag, and you can see that it has now been placed inside the document. Now this is a very good table of content for you to use. Yes, it's a very good table of content, and your viewer will be satisfied when they see such a table of content of this. I'm going to make more templates of table of content, how you can design a table of content. I'll make more templates and you can use it, but you have to follow the same principles that I've showed in this video. So not to make it long, I'm going to stop this one here, and I'll make more templates, and you'll find the templates use the same principles I've used here to design the templates and make them different. And that is it for the table of contents. And let's go to the next page, which will be the introduction